You have often heard me talk about the difference between King David's life and King Solomon, his son's life. Solomon had a few great encounters with God. I'm not sure David had the encounters of the same magnitude with God that Solomon had. David had encounters, yes, but Solomon had these great encounters with God. But David was a friend of God. David lived in a relationship with God. And oftentimes I find in Christianity today, people want to have a great encounter. They want to have a great revival encounter. They want to have a camp meeting once a year where God touches them fresh and new all over again. But the rest of the year, not so much. Now, beloved, the best way to have a good walk with God is not based on a few great encounters. It's the consistency of a relationship. Now, listen to one of the charges that David made to his son. And this is one of the great charges that he made. Now, we know he didn't listen very well to this. We know he didn't follow his father's counsel on this. But David tried to teach Solomon how to have a real daily relationship with God. Listen to him in 1 Chronicles 28, beginning with verse 9. And Solomon, my son, learn to know the God of your ancestors intimately. Wow, did you hear that? Learn to know the God of your ancestors intimately. Worship and serve him with your whole heart and a willing mind. For the Lord sees every heart and knows every plan and thought. If you seek him, you will find him. But if you forsake him, he will reject you forever. So take this seriously. Take this seriously. The Lord has chosen you to build a temple as his sanctuary. Be strong and do the work. Now look at these things that David charged Solomon with. Number one, he said, learn to know God intimately. Now, you know how you get to know someone intimately? You spend time with them. I often teach young couples that when they get married, they think they know each other. But after they get married and they're living together every day, they go to sleep together, they wake up together. If you're having a bad day, you can't just say, sweetheart, I don't want to see you today. I can't see you today. I got a headache. You can't do that. They get to see you good, bad, and ugly. When you get married, you get to know each other intimately. And by that, I'm not talking sexually. I'm talking about you really get to know people. Now, the same thing is true with God. You have to learn to know God intimately. You have to learn how to get deeper in this relationship. It is a learning process. It is not something that you already know. Learn to know God intimately. Secondly, you worship and serve him with a whole heart and a willing mind. Worship can never just be words that you're singing and your mind is someplace else. Please forgive me, but have you ever stood in service and you're singing the most beautiful words of worship, but your brain is someplace else? Yeah, we've all done it. That's not worshiping God with our whole heart and a willing mind. That's worshiping him with our lips, and our hearts are far from him. Yeah, that's a rough verse, isn't it? So he said, listen, Solomon, take this seriously. Worship God with a whole heart and a willing mind. And he said, thirdly, Solomon, seek God with all of your heart. If you seek him, he said, I promise you, you will find him. He said, now, Solomon, take this seriously. Solomon, take this seriously. Learn to know God intimately. Worship him with a whole heart and a willing mind. Seek him and you will find him. Solomon, take this seriously. Now, beloved, may I encourage each of us, take this seriously.